Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Attacking Third. I have my man, the myth, the legend, not Pat, but Austin. How are you doing, brother? And
I'm
then we
good, man.
have,
How
of
are you?
course,
Kitten in tow.
and then of course we have the man behind the scenes, the man that keeps everything together around here. Do have to give him his props. My man, Pat Bernard. How you doing, brother?
What's going good, guys? What's going good? You guys tell me what's going on with this team. 6 out of 7 draws within the last month or so. What's happening? I felt good Labor Day weekend going against this Red Bulls team. I felt good on last week. You know, kind of open the door. You blow the doors off Atlanta. A team's been giving you fits, and
Well,
then just work back to the norm.
before you get your panties all in the twist, let me just
Oh,
let me just say this. In through the draws, the last couple of games, I've seen the Union play slightly better than the other games. Now, I do have to say that. That being said, we haven't done enough to to get to a level where we need to be in order to go deep into the playoffs. Like right now, we're sniffing obviously the playoffs, we're in there, but we don't know how deep we can actually go, which is a problem because before you always had that that I don't want to say tip, but you had that feeling that the Union could get it done. Right now I don't have that feeling. Right now it's a matter of, can they do it? Can we hold on? Can we score? Even the match that we won, we were sitting there. I was in the stands. I was sitting there like, man, are we about to hold on? I don't know. And usually with games like that, once the Union go up by a certain amount of goals, it, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Austin. The last couple of years, there was no doubt in my mind that they were going to win that game, and they haven't been playing to that level in my eyes. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean they for some reason the tail end of the season has been wearing them down pretty heavily, and that especially that Atlanta game, you would think being up 3-0 going into the half that you're sitting quite pretty, and you almost end up turning 3-1. And I mean, honestly, it would have been pretty poetic for how the tail end of this season has been going to have that happen. But I mean, I'll take the 3 points, even though it was a pretty ugly second half. But the Nashville game, you controlled every aspect of this game, and you just keep getting stymied at the very end every single time. I mean, thank goodness the defense was able to contain Henny Mukhtar the way they were, or else you would have been staring down a pretty hefty barrel,
Hmm.
especially going into the second half, because they had some really good late looks in that first half.
And let
But
me tell you,
honestly, the just the way this team has been playing, they should have won at least 50% of these matches.
yeah, and let me tell you, if this was earlier in the season, we lose this game.
Oh
Like
yeah,
if
without a
this was
doubt.
a couple of weeks ago, we lose this game, and I do say that with all the confidence in the world, just because even I mean you said it yourself, we had control in this game against the Nashville team. We should have won, and a couple of weeks ago we weren't in this place. A couple of weeks ago we were barely holding on to those draws. Thank goodness they were draws, but we were either going up front and then letting them come back, or just not being able to produce what we were supposed to produce. It's been frustrating. I'm looking forward to the playoffs, but at this point, I really don't know how deep we can go.
Yeah,
and then
especially with the
I want
performances that you've
to.
seen so
Yeah, I agree with both you guys. Again, I, how can you feel good about a team when they're up? They take their foot off the gas pedal in the second half and gives the other team life. And you gave Atlanta life again. Hi, Dominic. You. This has been a major problem with this team. Whether they come out sluggish in the second half, that's been a major issue. I'm pretty sure me, Austin, we've all addressed this. Everyone in that press box has addressed this issue with Jim Curtin. What's going on? What's going on? You can only blame the injuries and the schedule for so long. You have to look in the mirror. There's an issue somewhere, and you as that coach need to figure it out. Yeah, and I would agree with you too, Gus. I don't know that there is a deep run like there was last year. I don't know. And one thing about the playoffs, there ain't going to be no tiebreakers. There ain't going to be no draws. It's going to be win or lose. And I don't know if this team has what it takes to go the distance to win.
No,
I
but that's
don't.
the problem, though. That's exactly the issue. Like you said it yourself, uh, injuries, can only be an excuse for so long. And even though right now, especially in the middle, man, like injuries have been killing us. Um, I don't know. We're not right now. We're not very deep in the mid. There's no Flock. We sent Perea away. Um, right now, we're switching from McGlynn to Bedoya is old. Like, we're switching from McGlynn to Bedoya to Martinez. Martinez accumulates yellow cards like it's freaking business. Like if we don't have them available every game, like it's gonna be tough to keep them going. Like who are you subbing them in for? We usually play four in the middle, like one being a little bit back and Martinez, right? Who are you subbing them in for? If you don't have anybody to sub them in, you're not playing Torres. Why? I don't know. I would and I know this is probably gonna ruffle some feathers. I'd rather see Torres than Bedoya out there, to be honest with you. I do.
Couldn't hurt.
And that's just purely because of pace and feel of the game. You can bring Bedoya in later, but to start, like, give him your chance to make a run. Like, at least he's fast. Like, give him the ball. We like the long shots and let him run. He can control the ball. He can dribble. For some reason, Curtin just doesn't trust him, and he does make some weird decisions from time to time, and I get the trust issues there. However, right now, with the way that the MLS is going and how what pace everybody's playing in, why not? We just bring Bedoya off the bench since we need a little depth there that we don't have because we are hurting. I mean that move with Perea, that's kind of coming back to biting us in the ass a little bit.
And I'm happy and excited for Owa to get finally last week. He gets
You
a couple
called
goals.
it. I gotta say before you keep going, Pat called it before the match.
I did. I text you.
Owa gets a goal today.
I said Owa's going to have a goal. I didn't really call two, but he did have a goal under his belt. So, but again, prior to this, and I'm pretty sure again, we've had these conversations with Jose and Miguel and Skylar and everyone else involved in that press box. Is this guy being overpaid right now for this year? And that question comes up to Jim's attention, and he knows this guy's got to get himself in the rhythm. This guy hasn't played well since August 26th in the Leagues Cup and so forth.
He's 100% being overpaid. We're going to have to do something about it because then we have to allocate that money somewhere else. If he's not going to perform, there's no point of paying him. We have to do something about that. Give it to Badillo. I don't care. Like if he's going to come in and perform, go ahead and do that. Unfortunately, we can't just have him on the bench. Like we have to make him produce. He is getting paid way too much to not play. But this is the weirdest thing. This is like a Wentz-like regression because he was fine last year. Like he was fine last year, but there hasn't been an injury, a big one essentially, right? He's just lost a step, and he's not finding the back of the net. I mean, one goal is nice, good thing that you got it going again, I guess, but. How many games are we gonna see that you're not gonna produce again? So are we getting one goal every 10 matches? Because that's not gonna be enough.
No, I totally agree. So I got a question for Austin. Austin, you were down there Saturday covering it. You're in the locker room. You're with Jim Curtin. What was the body language like? I mean, again, 6 out of 7 draws. You go from Wednesday looking okay, and your foot goes off the pedal. Like, what's the body language of the team? Is it more conservative? Wagner not going to be in Philly much longer, or like what's the deal?
I think the vibe in the locker room right now is pretty much like they're definitely trying to keep their heads up because they're not losing points. I mean, they're not like getting no points. You know what I mean? Like they're still
Right.
making
It could
some
be
sort
worse.
of headway in the standing. Exactly. They could have not gotten a positive result in a single match this entire time, and they could be staring down the barrel of a potentially not like backing out of the standings and going into the end of this.
Oh, he froze.
Did we lose him? Yeah, I think we lost Austin.
Yeah, he'll come back. He's just frozen.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But what he was saying, he's right though, because it's a weird. Like think about it. Right now, we're disappointed and we're complaining about not losing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a draw. It's annoying because we should have won these matches. We're complaining about draw. It could be much worse. It could be much worse. We could just be losing these games and then maybe staring outside of the MLS playoffs. Right? It could be a lot worse. I'm glad we're where we are right now because we kind of manage it, but we're picking because we're used to winning. That's what it is.
And that's the thing. Like again, we're not putting away teams, and we should be getting wins and all that stuff. And we're not doing that. We should be getting wins.
And that's because nobody's playing to their potential.
And we have these teams on the ropes, and nothing's coming off. So yeah, but like I said, we have teams on the ropes. We should be taking care of business, and nothing's coming about. So look, we're going to continue this conversation, but right now, let's take a quick ad read. Let's take a quick commercial break, guys. Check out Sherry Tickets.
All right, guys, it's time to talk about Sherry's Tickets. Sherry'sTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less and play more with Sherry'sTickets.com. Save even more by using the exclusive promo code EOP10. That's EOP10. Do not pay hidden fees and save 10%. Why use any other ticket reseller and get those hard to come by tickets to the big game? If you need a more personal touch, give them a call at 610-494-5050. That's 610-494-5050. Sherry'sTickets.com also has great theater and concert tickets that are hard to get your hands on. Remember, do not overpay and save with the best at Sherry'sTickets.com. Save 10% using the promo code EOP10. That's EOP10. You'll thank us later. Sherry'sTickets.com.
Gus, sorry about that. I had a quick internet issue. But yeah,
you don't look like that.
I know, dude.
Thank God.
The magic of television. But yeah, to sort of elaborate off of what I was saying before I got cut off, because my internet is the best. It was the body language that was going around in the locker room from the players that I saw. They were keeping their heads up because they could have very possibly not won a single match, and they could be staring down a very bad position right now in the East. And they're just keeping their heads up. They're just trying to keep themselves as healthy as they can and get to the end of the season and be able to push for the playoffs. And even Curtin himself said with Nashville and I believe it's New England both having a game in hand on the rest of the conference, their match actually happens this Saturday. There's a lot of wondering what could possibly happen, what the results, if the result goes a certain way, what you have to then do come your game on the 21st. So there's a lot of just waiting and seeing right now for having to I guess the game plan is still the same either way. You want to try and win that match coming up, but you're going to have to deal with a lot of other factors that are going to be determining how your season is truly going to end. So right now you're just trying to maintain positivity, trying to carry some sort of momentum going forward. And even though you didn't win against Nashville and, it wasn't the prettiest performance, honestly, you still managed to hold ground and get a decent, still get a point out of the match. So you're just sort of looking forward to, understanding the level of importance of this upcoming match on the 21st.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And
And I got no,
Go
I
ahead,
had a
go
question for you guys. So you were there too this weekend. From where you're sitting, I mean, what does the body language look on the field to you? I mean, does it look like, because to me when I saw, and this kind of, I know it's like a little ways back, but I mean, when I saw them against Cincinnati, I know it's a whole different beast, but I mean, to me it looks like it's the same old. The body language on the field looks like it's pass happy, pass, pass, pass. It's like the Flyers, pass, 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 and maybe come up with an opportunity here and there, but it's not like they were aggressive like they were last year. They didn't have a swag like they did last year. They
Well, see,
didn't. Go ahead.
that's the thing. In the whole pass happy approach, if it works, it's fine. But those passes have to turn into plays. They have to turn
Right.
into goals. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't just stay pass the whole time. So I mean, Barcelona did it for how many years? And I'm not, before somebody gets their panic in a bunch, I'm not comparing the unit to Barcelona.
Hello.
What I'm saying is that passing works as long as there is a goal in the horizon, right? We can't just pass and then just wait for a chance to happen. Those passes have to be controlled. Like, it has to be a play. Right now, that's not happening. We're waiting to see if anything opens up, and then usually end up passing it to somebody up front with their back to the goal, and then they don't know what to do, and then there's a turnover. And it happens every single match. And it happens more than twice, and every single time it's the same exact thing. And I'm not sure if it's something that they don't work on. I'm not sure if it's just natural. That's the way they do it. I'm not sure if Curtin just doesn't care about it. A number of different things, but it's something that needs to be addressed. Go ahead and create plays by passing the ball. Just know that there is a play at the end that you have to execute, and you're just not executing it.
And that's where I think everyone is looking to step the next guy. And again, look at Daniel Gazak, right? The most productive player on the team. But if he's not getting those penalty kicks, what good's he? Carranza, he's okay. I mean, but after that, there's really nothing, because those two are the only two that have double-digit, score goals on the team. After that, it becomes a drop-off.
And and Gazdag, I mean, most of his goals came via penalty, which, again, not taking anything away from him, because he is, he's a doctor out there when kicking these penalties. But you can't just rely on the ref giving you a call every single game. You have to create. Now, mind you, that being said, his goal on last Wednesday, was absolutely insane. That bicycle kick was awesome. I love it. He was by himself, though. That was a complete collapse by Atlanta's defense. Like, a complete collapse. There's no reason why a Union player should be that open in the middle of the box and then be able to do a bicycle kick that open. It shouldn't happen. It did. He got it, controlled it, and kicked it, and it was awesome. We screamed just as loud as any other goal. But it's it's frustrating when, like, you're relying on extreme circumstances to either score or get a play going.
Yeah, and that's, to me, like I said, they come out on fire in that first half. That second half, they just drag along, and they got no answers. There's nothing defensively, offensively. Neither side of the ball looks good. Jim Curtin, I don't know, like you said, and that's what another major gray area of Jim Curtin. It's these, like you said, you leave guys in here way too long. You're not freshening up legs. You keep these guys in for at least 75 minutes of the game, of the match, and where you can be substituting and using other fresh legs, and you just leave these. It's like leaving the pitcher on the hill for way too long, and eventually, some way, it could come back to snake bit you.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you on the defensive side because I think that on the defensive side we have actually been pretty okay, and we've gotten better, especially with with Glassness and Elliott back in there. With both of them, they take such command of the back line that we just play better with them there, and we have been. The match against Atlanta, we let him score, but half of that was the ref. So it wasn't even
Yeah,
on the defense, right? So I'm not gonna put those two goals on the defense because it really shouldn't have been that close. It was, that was extra circumstances, but they've been pretty solid. I mean, in the last couple games, I mean, not counting we had another draw, nothing, right? So they didn't let a score come through, right? Then
Mhm.
we had to win, which again, like I said, those two goals to me, I mean, you can let me know if you agree or not, but to me, those two goals weren't really on the defense. That was just you know con- MLS reffing, I guess. Let me just put it. And then all of our games have been 1-1 draw against Dallas, nothing against LAFC. We had 2-2
Yeah.
against Charlotte, but that was 2-2 against Cincy, which is the supporter shield Cincinnati. We only let the Red Bull scored one. Uh, the last time that they scored that we let anybody score more than two goals was Toronto.
Toronto.
Was
Yep.
August
Right.
30th when we lost 3-1. And that game we weren't prepared. But other than that,
No,
I
that
mean,
was if you want to
you
say
go down the
trap.
list. You go down the list, and before that, I I don't remember. I mean, Austin, you can help me out here. I don't remember anybody scoring a three on us.
No, they had a
It
charge
was.
to
I
turn.
think I want to say like LAF
LAFC.
in one of the
Yeah.
tournaments they scored four.
So okay,
But
so that was
aside
that
from
was in
that,
May.
that was forever ago.
Yeah, that was in May.
It
So
almost feels like it was a whole season ago.
right. So when you look at us defensively, yeah, we're doing okay. Defensively, it's been a little frustrating because people being out and injuries and the amount of games that we're playing and people got to sit down and rest for the playoffs. Like it's frustrating because we do have good defenders, but they don't all play the same way. We all know, and this is not going to be breaking news or anything like that. Elliott and Cousins are our two best defenders. They have to be back there in the
Yeah.
playoff setting. We have to build the back line around them. Damian Lowe is a nice little piece to bring in if you need to, but you do not have him out there in the playoffs to start because you have your line set. You have Wagner that's going to be there, Elliott, um, Glesnes, and then depending on who you're playing, you're going to switch between Bizel and Harriel. But that's just going to be depending on who you're playing. Bizel, it's a little bit faster. Harriel, it's a little more control. He doesn't take as many chances as Bizel, and he can also hurt you in the air better
Yep.
than Bizel, right? So it depends on who you're playing at that point. But the other three spots in the playoffs, but they better be locked down and set. I don't want to see anybody else start other than those three.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna before because I'm digging up some stuff about the playoffs, and I'm going to say that on the other side. But also, I go back to the press conference with you, and I overheard Jim Curran said he was really happy with he's been really happy with the defense. And he's been happy with Damian Lowe the way he stepped up in a major role, and the way he was able to shut down Mukhtar. Could you elaborate on that? Did you see anything different? I mean, were you happy what you seen from Damian Lowe playing against one of the studs and keeping him quiet?
Yeah, Damian Lowe played incredibly, having to deal with Hani Mukhtar, and even in the tail end of the match when Sam Surridge came in to sort of supplement play along with Mukhtar, he and Glesnes both did incredibly well, being able to just understand the positioning that they needed on the runs to be able to separate Mukhtar from the ball, to be able to put themselves in between the two of them. Like they were playing extremely well on him, understanding his capability and knowing what he can do on the field. They were able to really eliminate him from a lot of their potential play. And,
Right.
I mean, he still got some significant touches. He did get a couple of shots towards goal, but I don't think he registered a shot on goal throughout the entire match, if I recall correctly.
No.
So yeah, that alone tells you the work they put in to be able to keep this match as close as possible. The second that you eliminate your keystone to being able to generate offense, you pretty much stagnate, and that's really what Philadelphia did. We put ourselves in front of a lot of shots on net. Nashville did the same thing. So, I mean, it's totally understandable as to why this was a 0-0 draw. Both teams did really well defensively, clamping down on, the opposing team's key players and being able to essentially really dull out each side's attack. Even though Philadelphia had 14 shots on goal, 14 total shots, it really didn't seem like a lot because of the fact that they had only 5 of those 14 were on goal. Also when you think about Philadelphia Union historically in the past couple of seasons, when we have more possession percentage than the other team, it's either usually a loss or a draw.
That's correct.
We controlled the possession in the game. We outpossessed them 53-47, and just overall we had. I would say we had the advantage in terms of the overall play, but just the way each side's defense was able to really step up and prevent a lot of things from getting through to the keepers. It's totally understandable why this was a 0-0 draw, and exactly why I feel like this team should not be feeling discouraged right now, because you've been playing against a ton of really tough teams, and to be walking away with draws, especially against LAFC, Cincinnati, and then a team that is very scary, under the radar good in Nashville right now.
Well,
you should really feel proud about it.
Like I said, that's one of the key factors. Like, me and Gus were talking. I just feel like when there was opportunities to put these teams away, we didn't seize on that, and that's where I feel like a lot of fans are getting frustrated. It's just like, for instance, you were up 2-0 against Cincinnati. You let them hang around. Like I said, they didn't win, but again, you had them on the ropes. You didn't hit the TKO punch.
It's a frustration. It's exactly what it is, and that's why we're criticizing the Union, and we've been for the last couple of weeks. It's just the way that sometimes the way that they let the other teams come back, and the way that they're tying these games, and not winning. Like, we should have. And all things considered, we should have won against Nashville. We had the chances to make it happen. 14 shots, 5 on goal, no goals. Come on,
and 8 corners to pair with that too.
And that's the thing. And I was saying, I think a couple of weeks ago, I was saying that we need a corner goal. We have so many corners, and then nothing comes from it. Whereas we have a 6'4" and a 6'5" guy in our defense that go over there. The average height in the MLS is what, 6 foot? Not even
something like that. Yeah,
5'11". So you're 6'5" and 6'4". Get out there and score. You have Nate Harriel scoring more headers than Elliott and Glesnes. What?
Yeah, I don't know if it's they don't have the speed. I don't know. I don't know what the excuse
even
is.
the speed, because they're corner kicks. They're already there.
Right. Well, that's why
you don't need to
I like. When I sat there during the Red Bull match, I seen Wagner just like pretty much telling like Glesnes like, "Yo, where to go?" and all that stuff. Like, he was pretty much playing quarterback this whole ride. But I definitely want to touch on something with you guys.
Before you go, let me say this. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we are criticizing the Union, and we're upset because they should be winning these games. It's just so people would understand. Like, it's almost like what happened last night, right? In the Phillies game, we had control of the game. We let them come back. A really, really good team. Like, this is exactly what happened with Cincinnati, right? A really good team. They came back, won the game. Obviously, you can't tie in the playoffs in the MLS or anywhere in the MLS, but in the MLB, sorry. But we let them come back, win the game in their house. yeah, you're upset because of the way we lost. All that anger smoke clears, though. You're like, all right, we split in Atlanta. That's pretty damn good, right? So we're kind of in the same boat right now. Like, we're saying, like, damn, like, we can't win these games. We're still getting a point out of it, and we're still in the playoffs, and we're still we can still like make noise, right? So once that anger smokes clears of like, yeah, we should have, then you kind of center yourself a little bit and say, okay, well, we're still not in a bad spot. Let's see what comes from it.
Exactly.
All right, yeah.
It's basically like the way we're acting is almost like the ship's like taking on a ton of water.
Yeah,
but it's just a small like nail is stuck on the outside of the ship.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh no! But like, as Aaron Rodgers said a few years ago, relax.
Yeah, it's a slow leak. It's a slow leak. There's no hole.
It's the
Well,
slowest
listen,
possible leak.
I'm going to say my opinion on the other side. Let's get through a couple of these quick advertisements, and then we'll get right back with it.
All right, guys, let's talk about Cherry Law Firm. If you get hurt at work in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or affected by criminal law, you got to call David R. Cherry of the Cherry Firm. Call 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for your rights. Again, that number is 610-565-0300. That's 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for your right.
All right, and one more. Of course, I got to get my Philly sports.
All right, guys, if you're a Philly sports fan and you want to travel with your favorite team, then travel with the best. Go to phillysportstrips.com. They have self-travel packages and full travel packages available with round-trip flights from the Philadelphia airport. Packages include direct flights, 4-night stays, all-inclusive tailgate parties, lower-level group tickets. Whatever you want, you got it with phillysportstrips.com. If you want to travel to an upcoming Phillies game, make sure you check out Philly Sports Trips. And do not forget, Philly Sports Trips has all the away trips for the Eagles' upcoming 2023 season. Jump on it now, because you do not want to lose out on all these great opportunities. Go to phillysportstrips.com.
All right, guys, we are back. So here we are now looking at playoff scenarios where there will be no such thing as draws. It is win or lose. Guys, who do you want to rather face? Do you want to face Columbus? Do you want to face New England? Do you want to face Atlanta? Or do you want to face possibly Nashville? And Nashville and New England are going to mash it up this weekend. So who do you guys rather face right now as a Union fan?
We can beat any one of those teams.
Really?
I was literally going to say pick one.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys.
Yeah.
Pat, you got to understand something. Like, here's the thing. There's not one team that you just listed that I would say, oh man, we're gonna have a really they're gonna beat us. We can beat every single team you just mentioned if we actually execute. The reason we're tying these games, the reason we're not performing like we should, it's all on the Philadelphia Union. So who do I want to see? Who do I want to see? It doesn't matter. I want to see the Philadelphia Union. That's what I want to see. I want to see the real Philadelphia Union play their game, curtains way, go out there and execute. I don't care who's in front of me. We're going to take care of them when the time comes. Just perform. That's all. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, guys, the only problem, though, is I would be more worried about facing Atlanta because even though we just beat them, they still managed. However,
Atlanta's defense is trash.
It is. Their defense is very suspect. For how good their offense is, their defense.
I was going to say, but their defense can be trash, but they got two guys who can score.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Do you know who we have?
Tiago Almada and Giorgio Yakumakis are definitely both very good players. Like they're both very good. Like, don't get me wrong, but
how'd Tiago do against the Union?
Pat?
How
did Almada do in the last match?
He got
Yakumakis do in the last match.
He got mustard.
They have a very good offense. We have Glesnes and Elliott. You know what I'm saying? Like their defense is. I don't think you realize how trash their defense is.
I understand that, but they got guys who can score.
And we got guys that can stop them.
Yeah, but we don't
We don't
have
have guys that can stop us.
Pat, the issue that you're having with Atlanta is the fact that we let our foot off the gas pedal in the second half of a match.
And it wasn't even us. That's the thing. It was the ref.
If Philadelphia, in terms of the attack, doesn't take their foot off the gas pedal in that match, we blow them out.
I mean,
I understand why you pull the foot off the pedal a bit there. It's because of the fact that you don't want to start overextending some guys and potentially either hurt them or have them fall out of position in that situation. So I'm totally fine with it, especially right now because of the fact that you have playoffs secured. But I still do understand the aggravation of you want to finish top 4. You need to start getting some wins to be able to maintain top 4. So now we're at the point where New England and Nashville sort of dictate what our fate could become. And I'm not a huge fan of that.
But it also doesn't matter, though. It really doesn't matter who we face, as long as we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. I think, Pat, you're putting a little too much emphasis on the final score. The 3-2 against Atlanta should have been 3-2. It really should have been 3-1, maybe, because
probably even 4-1
instead of penalty. Yeah, like you know what I'm saying. Like it should have been a blowout, and it was a penalty which we hardly give up, right? And then it was the refs, like right the next goal. It was the officiating just got a little out of hand for a little while there. But I think you're putting a little too much emphasis on their actual score, the final score of the game, than the actual game. Yes, they have a good offense. We have a great defense that can slow down / stop that offense. They don't have an answer for us up top if we play our game. None. Their defense is trash.
I do feel like a lot of these teams that you're playing that are vying for like some of the spaces that you're around in the playoffs right now, you're more using this period as a potential feel out match for if you have to face them in the playoffs. So you sort of understand what their mentality is coming into that point, like understanding like how they like collapse backwards when you're pushing, how the midfield reacts when you play. You're getting a lot of that right now. You're getting a lot of vital information for in case you play that team in the playoffs. I'm totally fine with I'm totally fine with draws because of the fact that they're points. Do I want wins because of the fact that it helps your position at the current time? Absolutely. But at the same time, gathering this information for how these teams are playing right now is going to tell you a lot about how they're going to play in the playoffs. Every single team right now is exhausted. This is a very long season, considering the fact that almost every team in this league played in extra tournaments this year. So they're all worn down. So you're looking at how these teams are capable of playing going into the playoffs at the full capacity that they're at right now because of how gassed every team is. So if you're able to find those like cracks in the armor, those small little things that you can exploit in a team's defensive setup on the attacking side of things, you're going to end up in a good position. You're getting a lot of vital information going into the playoffs right now.
Right. And like I said, it's funny. This is coming back full circle on me. This is coming back full circle. Here I am complaining about an Atlanta team that I've run parallel, right? Here we are, Phillies. We talked about the Phillies and Braves having my concerns, and here I'm having my concerns about an Atlanta team with 2 studs on their offense that I just smell trouble. And I know you guys feel more confident about the defense and such, but I just feel like these 2 guys can find ways around it, and they'll make adjustments. I need to know, like, if we had a better consistent playmaker on offense, I would feel this much more better. But we don't. And that's the part I can't overlook.
What if I told you that we don't need just one consistent playmaker? We have a few. Kai Wagner, Jack McGlynn, Daniel Gazdag, Julian Carranza. Like, these guys make plays. We're just in a spot. We're in a spot right now where the wear is starting to show a bit more. So the play isn't exactly what you saw in the front half of the season now. you're thinking this is now 19 weeks from where we were last talking about Philadelphia playing Atlanta. Like, there's been a lot of time and a lot of soccer has happened in that time. So the teams are totally different in terms of just aside from just the fact that, at that point there was less soccer played to where we are now. It's also the amount of soccer that's actually been played, the amount of minutes these teams have put in, these players have put in. Like, it's just a lot. So the team that Atlanta team that you saw is more than likely, if not 100% actually, going to be the Atlanta team that you see if you see them in the playoffs. It'll more than likely be the exact same thing. And if you already beat them 3-2, you're probably going to end up beating them 3-2 again, maybe even 4-2. Because
I don't think they scored.
Yeah, I don't even think they scored two.
They scored two.
Especially with our defense and Andre Blake, like you've seen over the past couple of years, when the playoffs come around, our team changes. Like that switch flips. So I mean, you really hope that they don't start winning these games in the playoffs and then get the thought of, oh gosh, what if we have to go back to MLS Cup and that whole thing happens? Because you really want to hope that that's been like either completely wiped from memory or put so far in the back of your mind that it doesn't even have a chance to climb its way forward.
Do you know what I think you're doing? You know what I think you're doing? I think you're looking at the MLS playoffs with your MLB glasses. That's what I think you're doing. But because there's no way that you can look at an Atlanta team and then look at us and then say, "Oh, I'm really scared of Atlanta." Why?
Fourth of July weekend, they beat us 2-0.
So what? That was a long time ago.
I feel like the only team you really have to worry about in the Eastern Conference is Cincinnati because of where they finished.
Hold on. Who won the series matchups between the Phillies and the Braves this year?
No one. Well, Braves.
Okay. So do you not think we can beat the Braves?
Honestly, if you want to, it's given the Braves' momentum right now, I know it's going to be 72 hours of hell they're about to walk into.
I know, bro, we just went to the best team in baseball and stole one from them. They're not. Okay. It's not going back to Atlanta.
And what happened in the second game?
It's the second game. They won the game in their house, making a hell of a play.
As expected, especially against the best team in baseball, you expect to go there and come back down too.
And not to mention 2 really bad errors by Turner and a bad error by Harper. So they didn't really beat us. We beat ourselves. This series is not going back to Atlanta. You heard it here first in the attacking third. But you need to take your MLB glasses off and stop looking at the MLS like you do the MLB, because it's not the same thing.
I understand that, but I mean, I just don't know how you guys can walk full confident with a team that's just as dangerous and with two.
This isn't confidence talking. This is just pure facts.
How though? I mean,
because their offense does not offset our defense. Our defense is better, and their defense is trash.
But their offense is 10 times better than our offense.
Yeah, but there's not 10 times better than our defense. Our defense is better, so they can stop their offense. They can't stop our offense. Their defense is trash.
And what if you wind up with Columbus Crew? They got guys who can score too.
Everyone has guys that can score. We have a good defense.
That's the point of a team makeup, is you have guys that can do things that they're supposed to do. We have guys that do it better. We have guys that do it better. The fact that you're worried right now is nonsensical.
There's no reason to be worried.
We are going to finish as a top 4 team. We are going to have home playoff games. We are going to win those home playoff games. That is all that matters. You win at home, you win the series. If you are in the top 4, you get 2. Guess what? It's a best of 3. What is best of 3? 2 wins, Patrick.
Yes.
You win those 2 at home and you move on.
Pat, do you know what team you need to be scared of? You know what team you need to be scared of? There's only one team you need to be scared of them playing. And that's the Philadelphia Union. This is the only team that you need to worry about right now, because it's the only team that's going to beat you or win you games. That's it.
Again, you just said that this team could beat themselves.
And that's
Every team can beat themselves,
every
Pat. It
team.
happens consistently. The Phillies beat themselves last night, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
The costly errors, we lost that game. Atlanta didn't win that
What
game.
else happened? What else happened in that baseball game last night?
I was watching the post-game show and I forgot to bring this comment up. I am not mad at Harper for getting doubled off. It's such a close play at the wall that if he doesn't make that catch, Harper is 110 feet from scoring at that point. Harper scores and it's a tie game. I'm totally fine with him not being that far out. I'm totally fine with the way that game went because we played well and then we let our foot off the gas, which is a lesson learned for this team again this year, just like it was last season.
How did it happen last night? It says an Austin Riley, a Phillies killer.
Dude, first of all, Austin Riley went down and got that pitch. He earned that home run.
One hand.
That was not one. First, okay, that's my second thing. It was not a one-handed home run. He had two hands on the bat. He took his fingers off the bat, but both were still on that bat. That's a two-handed swing.
No.
Don't give me that. Don't give me that. I've seen one-handed hits. I've one-handed hits. I've done a one-handed hit.
No.
I love you guys, but you guys.
Todd Frazier hit a home run throwing his bat, brother. He threw his bat at the ball. He actually threw his bat at the ball and hit a bomb.
He was letting go on the way down, man. He got that with
he was letting go, but both of his hands were on the bat.
That's a powerful guy.
His right hand, if this was the handle of the bat, his fingers came off. He still had his hand on that bat pushing forward. It's not a one-handed home run, dog. You can say it was 1.5-handed. I'll give you 1.5, maybe 1 2/3. I ain't giving you one.
Whatever the case may be, the Phillies.
Either way, he went and got that home run. Credit to him because that dude's found a resurgence in his career in Atlanta, my guy.
And you know what? Like back to Austin's point, like we did beat ourselves in a way in Atlanta against arguably the best team in baseball. We maybe pulled Wheeler a little too late, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I would say about 4 or 5 pitches too late.
Yeah, right. And Wheeler usually can go like 6, 7. He was starting to, I guess, wear off a little bit right in the 6th inning.
Yeah, he looked like he was starting to lose his breaking ball in the at-bat before that.
The comparisons between the Phillies and the Union are actually pretty similar.
It's almost like looking in a weird mirror.
It's weird because they're pretty similar in terms of the Phillies have superstars, right? The Phillies they do have that one guy that can take over, which I don't believe that the Union have. But in terms of success, in terms of in terms of actual games or who we're going against, like I'm sitting here saying that we're not going back to Atlanta and we're facing the best team in baseball, arguably, right?
Mm-hmm.
The team with the most home runs in baseball history. Yeah, I would say they're probably the best team in the league.
With the Union, like you can tell me right now that we're going against Cincy, and I'm telling you we can win this game.
Oh yeah, I would definitely for Cincinnati. I'd be a little more concerned.
Well, yeah, me too. But
I would still think that we definitely have a serious puncher's chance in that matchup. But Pat's talking about Columbus, New England.
Oh, come on, man.
Atlanta.
Come on. You guys are taking this way too lightly. It's what you just saw in the past 7 weeks.
It's not lightly.
What, draws?
Draws. I mean, granted, they're not.
We didn't lose.
Yes, but you didn't gain ground either. You didn't prove that you could have been gaining ground and you could have been in that first seed or number 1 seed or the second seed, but we didn't.
Pat, what happens if you win by a goal?
If you win by a goal, you get 3 points.
What happens if you win by 5 goals?
You get 3 points.
There you go. That's your answer. Doesn't matter. We got to find a way to win, and that's fine. You can draw in the regular season. You cannot draw in the postseason. You got to find a way to win.
And we're acting like coming to Subaru Park is hard for the opponent. I mean, the past 7 weeks, you got your cheesesteak and play Wells too. I don't get it. I don't. Look. I'm a little bit more precautious than you guys.
We don't lose in Subaru Park in the playoffs.
It could happen. It could be. There's a first for everything.
When's the last time?
I want to say it was Houston Dynamo, like 2015 or something like that.
Yeah. Moons ago. I got you.
Back when the Houston Dynamo were in the Eastern Conference and
Yeah,
Chivas USA was still a club. So like, think about that, Pat.
We just have to find a way to make the playoffs go through Subaru
half the
Park.
teams in the league weren't in the league.
Yeah, we just have to find a way to make the playoffs go through Subaru Park. That should be our goal. That should be our main concern right now.
To put it for a lot of people that are just learning soccer because of a certain Argentinian forward, the Philadelphia Union haven't
Carranza?
lost a.
You talking about Carranza?
No, shorter.
Oh, okay.
Not Lucci Acosta short though, like a little bit taller.
The guy from Atlanta, Thiago. That's
no, Almada's way taller than Acosta. This is sort of in between that space. I don't know. He was from the Paris place with the other dudes. Anyway, the Union haven't lost a playoff game since Lionel Messi was in Barcelona. Just a fact. In the time that the Philadelphia Union haven't lost a playoff game, I think the Sixers have been bowed out of the playoffs 5 times.
Wow.
So I mean, it's been a while since we lost at home, bro. So like, I want top 4 is key because of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like I said to start this off, man, the fact that you are letting Nashville and New England sort of dictate how this can kind of go, potentially, maybe, kind of, sort of. It's not great. It's not. Like, let's be honest with ourselves here. It's not cool that we're letting 2 other teams be like, hey, if something happens here, something else may have to possibly maybe happen there.
I'm not worried. Go ahead.
And Pat, let me it's a game, right? They could come in here and score 2 on us and win the game, but when you look at actual facts and both the teams, there's no reason why you shouldn't pick the Union to win. None.
No. I mean, look, I'm going based off the paper. I mean, even the team just doesn't look like they have enough. They don't have enough. They lost their luster. I mean, look, all summer they looked great. They have with the Union from last year.
Hey,
I get the injuries have soaked in, and I guess the playing 2 days a week has soaked in with the team. And I get all that. But however, the excuses we open up the show. The excuses are going to be limitless, are going to be careless once in 2 weeks. And if this team gets the first dub in Subaru Park, and that's what I'm scared of. They got guys who could.
Then the Philadelphia Union beat themselves.
Why do we book this negative Nancy, dog?
At no point, let me tell you something. At no point we're going to be sitting here saying the Union played well, but we lost the game.
Yeah, right.
The Philadelphia Union is the only team that can beat the Philadelphia Union right now, as we stand, as we're constructed, as we're playing, as our scheme, our coach. The only way that we lose in the playoffs is if the Philadelphia Union beat themselves.
Let me ask you guys another question. I'm going to throw a little hard one at you. If they happen to lose the first round, what do you think about Jim Curtin's job?
He already signed the extension, bro.
Yeah,
no, but I mean, mentally, are you thinking? You got 1 year with me. You got 1 more year to get back to. Or you're thinking?
No, because Jim's system has worked, and it's been working, and it's not like they figure it out. It's just that we're just not executing like we're used to. That's it.
This has been partially his fault, though. Majority of the losses have been,
and his decisions in the lineup have come. But again, that he's gonna look at film. He's gonna take a look. Bedoya's probably not gonna come back next year. God, I hope.
He also just signed an extension, didn't he?
Well, it's not that far off, is it? He might retire, bro. He's old as hell.
I know we don't have a lot of time, but the MLS did announce their new off-season schedule that they're going to be starting this year, beginning with a November 22nd club deadline to submit offers for teams that aren't in the conference semifinal for players that are potentially leaving, you have a bit of a grace period to be able to lock them into a contract.
Say it with me. Pay Kai Wagner.
But dude, that's like the only two chants I've ever come out hear it from the SO for Sons of Ben.
Literally, the second the 27th minute has been hitting the past couple of weeks, they've just been chanting "Pay Kai Wagner" for that whole minute.
There's no reason why this man should be going on social media saying, "I'm playing my last game in Philly." Pay the man. He's one of the best left backs in the league.
He should. It's a situation where even if you look at it in a vacuum, 4 weeks ago, when Jose asked him of that question post game. And I was there for when he asked him that question. And he said that I feel like this is my final season in Philadelphia. Followed it up with saying it wasn't my decision. Says more about Jay Sugarman than it says about anyone in this organization.
Pay the man. He's done enough.
He's earned every single dollar. Like,
yes.
Honestly, with how he performed, I'm fine with moving Ua. Get rid of him, open that DP spot up, put Kai Wagner in there, and pay this man.
Pay the man.
I'm going to agree with you.
He's more than earned it. He and Gressel should both be the top 2 paid left backs in this league. They should both be making 6 figures. Absolutely. They've earned it. The fact that you're letting it get to this point is embarrassing.
Yeah, and that, like I said, speaking of embarrassing, like I said, he threw the GM right on the bus. He threw him right.
Whose fault is that, Pat?
Right, it's the GM's fault, though. If you would have paid this guy by now,
this makes no sense at all. This is just front office executives being stubborn as hell with their money, like they've been for years with the Philadelphia team.
Guys, are we trying to be the New York Yankees? Or are we trying to be the Oakland A's? Are we just here to be fishbowl for the big?
We're trying to do the same thing that we've been doing for a while. We go in the academy, we elevate them, we sell them for way more than we paid for, and then we make some money. That's what the union are trying to do, and that's what they've been doing for the last couple of years. But right now, we're in a time where the MLS, we're going to need these players that have been here for a while and they know how to play. Kai is one of the top 2 left backs in the league, not in the conference, in the league.
And like we discussed, right? And like we discussed too, gentlemen, listen. When one of the biggest names in soccer come to the MLS, it's time to start shifting gears a little bit. It's you have to start upping your game a little bit. Yeah. You have to start digging your pockets. You want to play. You saw it in our Miami, didn't right? They brought one of the biggest names in there. They dug in their pockets. Well, you got to match that. You got to match it.
The biggest name,
right? You got to.
The league and your biggest broadcast sponsor dug into their pockets. Miami barely paid anything on this.
That's true.
Yeah, well. I mean, like again, you got to match intensity because by next year Miami's going to be. I would imagine they're going to be in the MLS Cup, conversation.
We get in Philadelphia to start paying for players. Like who's the big name in Philadelphia? Pats and Geno's.
Yeah, we're gonna ask Tony Luke to dish out some money.
Tony Luke, where's he at? Yo, somebody call Will Smith, bro. He's from Philly.
Hey, listen, KD owns the team, right?
It's a minority stake in ownership.
Yo, you know what we need to do? We need to go out. We need to go find Kevin Durant. Be like, bro, where's our money, bro? We need money.
Yes, he's got plenty of it.
No, because what'll happen is he'll be like, I'll put more money in, and Jay Sugar will be like, okay, and put it straight into his pocket.
Yeah, I know, right? It's for academy, man. Come on.
We are very possibly dealing with soccer corruption for the first time as a city. So I mean, I kind of hope not, because my God,
FIFA is the most.
Oh no, I'm talking about like us as a city and a fan base experiencing it for the first time. I personally,
we're so young
that it's a thing. Like
we're so young that we've probably been dipping into corruption here and there, and we're trying to see if we can get a little further in the ocean.
Oh my gosh, dude! If they go full Todd Bowley, I'm out. if they just try and
Listen,
double,
you
if I hear Jay Sugarman once mention the terms doubling the revenue, I quit.
Did you see what FIFA's doing for the World Cup in 2030?
Dude, no.
They
Help
had
me.
so the hosts will be Portugal, Spain, and I forget who else. I think it's another country, but Portugal, Spain. But the first 3 matches are going to be played in Paraguay, goes to Paraguay, Uruguay, and Brazil, I think, or something like that. Which means that there are 3 teams that are automatically going through to to the World Cup.
The knockouts, yeah.
And it's not like it's the top teams like Brazil, Argentina, and someone else. Like for those 2 spots are basically locked every year between those 2. Everything else is up for grabs. So when you look at countries like Peru, right, that you're fighting for the 6th spot, even though they I think they added one more to CONMEBOL, sorry. Like, we're always there fighting. So if you tell me that one of those teams that we usually fight is automatically going through, like, what the hell? So, I mean, we have to work harder to get there?
Yep.
Like, how messed up is that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, listen, there is not going to be much MLS soccer this weekend. There's going to be maybe 2 games.
New England, Nashville. I'm pretty sure that's the only one.
New England, Nashville, Colorado, and Dallas. That's about it. Everything. No, I'm sorry, 3. LA Galaxy, and Salt Lake. But other than that, it's a lot of development teams and a lot of country teams. So
Yeah, we won't see the Union until the 21st, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what's
the West
teams playing in?
It's World Cup warm-ups, I think, right? Qualifier
Yeah,
warm-ups.
it's qualifiers, yeah.
Okay, so you got
if I can really quick, big shout outs to Union right back Nathan Harriel getting his first call up for the U23 team.
Yay.
He got the call alongside Jack McGlynn this time around.
Yes.
And then he would have gotten the call if he didn't get hurt, but Jesus Bueno is not part of the Venezuela team.
I feel like he would have gotten that call.
Yeah, he definitely would have. He himself had said he's very gutted at the fact that he wasn't able to represent them this time around.
First time, listen, when in soccer, especially when you're, I don't know if that's the same thing here, but when you come from somewhere else to play for your country, bro, like that's like, it's the ultimate goal. Like if you can, that first time that you put that kid on and you go on the field, it's something special. It really is.
I definitely feel like it is one of probably the best feelings in the world, and the fact for Jose to be working as hard, for Jesus to be working as hard as he's been to have this injury come up. He had got injured during his last call up, so he still hasn't even seen the field. Like it really has to be something that he's very torn up about for sure. Oh yeah, he'll definitely get there.
He's so young.
But at the same time, like just the fact of like knowing that you've had the opportunity and you wound up getting hurt, so you had to miss out, definitely can make you feel really bummed out for sure. But he seems like he has that mentality where he's going to be able to sort of let it just roll off his back and be ready for the next time.
Well, yeah, definitely. Well, listen, starting Friday the 13th, Japan taking on Canada. Who you guys got as a warm up?
I like Canada in that one.
Gus is still thinking.
I'm not thinking. I'm just kind of questioning Austin's pick. I got Japan, bro. They've been playing well.
You got Japan. All right. Well, here we go. Next one. USA taking on Germany.
Fuck.
US.
Let's go USA.
Yeah, screw it.
All right.
Even though we both know it's definitely gonna be Germany. We just have
it's not. No, it's not. I don't buy it.
All right. And last one. Mexico taking on Ghana.
On Ghana. I really do like that Ghana team though.
Yeah.
Bank of America Stadium.
And the thing is that
Mexico seems to have turned it around a little bit.
Have they though? Is that just a smokescreen?
I mean, they've won pretty convincingly their past few times around. So, I mean, I feel like they've sort of figured something out.
Well, they fired their coach, so that's step number one.
That's one thing, yeah. And then step 2 is win some matches, build some confidence, and step 3 is continue to execute. So, I mean, they're already 2/3 of the way there.
I guess my head would say Mexico, but I'm not taking anything away from Ghana.
Yeah,
No,
well,
you can't take anything away from Ghana, dude.
Definitely. Look, we're getting ready to wrap up the show here. I want to say thank you. This has been a pre-recorded show, so of course, if you guys didn't see us, that's why we've hooked it up. But I do want to thank Austin and Gus, as always, doing a heck of a job. And guys, stay tuned because in 2 weeks, this show has a big surprise going on. Pretty much, I'll put it like this: that the Union Press Box is going to be right here on Edge Affiliate Sports. We are going to have a lot of names from there going to be joining us through the course of the Union playoffs, and I can't wait. So, guys, stay tuned.
And especially before you go wrap up, especially that means that with everybody here, we're not going to have to listen to Pat's negativity.
Oh yeah,
this whole time.
Hollow. Just you know, it's like talking to a deer. Just absolutely, just deer in the headlights. Just nothing there. So,
God does exist.
So, guys, have a good night and stay tuned. We got more action tomorrow night. We've got the Steel Steps podcast come up here Friday night. Guys, check them out. Let's go.